Howdy, this is Denise Vidoc, and I'm just going to go over some ways that I use OneNote to use for digital planning. I am in a group on Facebook, and it's called OneNote Bullet Journal, and everybody throws in different ideas, and I have done some layouts, and people have asked me how I do it to make it actually look like a real planner, and I'm going to show you how I do that today. And the first step that we have to do is I need to start in PowerPoint because that's how I'm going to make the planner background basically. Let me get that going. And I can show you some ideas, some that I've done here, just different layouts. And we're just going to create a new one. And we're going to start from scratch. And the first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to go to the Insert menu and go to Shapes. And I'm going to pick the one with the rounded rectangle. And we're going to use that to make our planner background, basically. So I'm going to leave just a tiny bit of room around the outside. And when you put it in, you can see that it's pretty well rounded here. But I've got this little yellow corner. And if you drag that, you can give it the amount of curve that you want. So we're just going to pick this. The outline, let's make this purple because this is going to be a Mother's Day layout. So the fill, we're going to actually use a picture for the fill. And I'm going to go here. Let's just pick a flowered background. And so I can leave it like this because this is actually a pretty good size. It's a pretty good size image. But I'm going to right click and just go to Format Picture and show you how if you've got a smaller image, you can actually click where it says Tile Picture as Texture. And you can click on that and you can even change it. We'll just make this 50% by 50%. And so you can see that it puts a line here because this is not an actual seamless digital paper, but you get the idea. So, so now that I've got a background on here, I'm also going to come in and I'm going to insert another shape that's pretty much the same thing, but I'm going to come just inside of this original one. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to kind of make the edges of it kind of the same. And I'm going to try and make the size kind of even all the way around. And on this one, I'm going to turn the fill off and the outline. We're going to use dashes. We're going to use the big dash here. And that's going to, let's go in and change the weight. Make it a little bit thicker. And that's just going to look like stitching that you would see around a normal binder. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to insert another picture. And these are ones that I have personally, I've gotten these off of Etsy. And it's just some digital ring binders. And you can just look up heart ring binders or whatever. And I think this one comes from a little shop. It's called My Cutie Shop. So we're doing purple. So we're going to pick the purple one. All right. And so I've got this and it did it for me. It just put it right in the center, which is actually what I want. I'm going to drag it in just a little bit. Make sure it's not sticking out the bottom. All right. So now let's go back and we're going to do another shape. And we're going to do another rounded shape here. I'm going to go inside of the stitching. And I'm going to bring it almost to the center, but not quite. And the shape fill on this one, we're going to make it white because this is going to be the paper that we're going to use. And you can make it any color you want. So after I've got it made, and I'm going to actually make it just a little bit smaller because we're going to put a pen design on the other side. Let's make it a little taller. All right, so now that I've got it made, I'm just going to copy it. I just right clicked on it and hit Control C. And then I'm going to bring this one in to about the same kind of distance on it. So now that I've got those here you've actually got them in front, I'm just going to click on the rings. I'm going to right click and say bring to front because we want those to be, in front of the paper basically. So now I'm going to insert another picture. And this is all just completely personal preference. I've got a fountain pen that I want to use. And let's take this. Whoop, put on the wrong image. And let's move this over. Resize it. So yeah, we'll just put it about right there. Then one more time, I'm going to insert, and I'm just going to do this kind of rectangle shape now, and we're basically going to make like a pin loop for this to be in. And this time, I am going to, let's do a pattern fill, and we're going to use the striped one here just to make it look kind of like elastic. And let's do a dark purple for this color, and we'll do a hot pink for the opposite color. We can make it a little bigger. And so let's take the paper now, and we'll bring it to the front, and then click on the rings and bring it to the front. So now we've pretty much got our background that we're going to want to use over in OneNote. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to save my file, but I'm going to do it a save as. You can just use F12. Oops. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this as an image file. So I'm going to save it. We'll do a PNG file. And I'm just going to save this one particular slide, just this one. Okay, so now we're going to go into, I'm going to go and I'm going to use the OneNote app for Windows right now. And eventually, when Office 2019 comes out, it is not going to include a desktop version. So I'm trying to use the app as much as possible. So that's what I'm going to do here. So we're going to go to insert. I'm going to insert the picture. And I'm having sync issues here. Let's try a new page. Yep, there we go. Okay, so I had that one in documents. Pretty sure that's where I put it. Sometimes it takes a little bit for it to sync. Okay, so let's pick the purple flower planner. Try saying that 10 times fast. Open. And when it comes in, it could come in a little smaller. So I'm just going to right click, and on the picture, let's see. Okay, this is one of those things that I'm normally using in OneNote 2016, and it does have it has a thing there where it says restore to original size, and I don't see that for this particular one, so I'm just going to drag this and make it I'm going to try and fit it in here so we can see the whole thing all at once. Okay, so that's about good. All right, so now we've got our image in here. So now I'm going to go to a right click and go to picture and set picture as background. And what I'm doing by doing that is I'm just putting that on the screen. So basically it's just part of the background. So I can click all over it and it's not going to move or change or do anything there. So to start planning for this week, we're going to go in and I'm going to go, let's go to the draw menu and we're going to pick a pen. I'm just going to pick the Galaxy color here. I think it's called Galaxy. Yeah, Galaxy. And I'm going to make a shape. We're just going to make a square. Just kind of eyeball it. I'm going to do it about half the size of the paper as far as it is wide. And I'm going to do it about a third of the way as it is tall. So let's just copy that and paste. So I can kind of get my sizes right. I can actually make them a little bigger. So I'm going to have a little overlap there. So I'm just pasting, excuse me, I'm still not over this cough. Pasting images here. I'm going to paste over here. Paste here. Okay. Now for up here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say insert picture from file. And let's just go, let's look at pictures. Oops, my pictures. Let's just use a picture here. I know this is going to kind of stretch it, but I mean, this is just to give you an idea. You can put a picture here. And again, I'm used to working in OneNote 2016, which with that, I have the One-tastic add-in, which allows me to actually crop an image. So for demonstration, I'm just going to show you the way it is here. So, okay. So now inside each of these boxes, you can do this one of two ways. I can just click in here and I can start typing. I'm just going to start with Monday because I like starting with and keeping my weekends together at the end. But again, great thing about digital planning is it's personal preference. You can make this however you want to do it. So we're going to start with Monday, May the 7th. And so I can drag this little box and I'm holding down my Alt button so that I can move this kind of freely around. It's not actually snapping to the page. And when you're doing that, make sure you let up on your mouse button first and then let up the Alt button. And so I'm just going to drag this as wide as it is for my particular box. And so I'm just going to hit return to go down to the next page. And I'm going to, to the next line. And I'm going to come in here and we're going to change this to another font. Let's just make it, pick a color. We'll do purple. We'll keep everything purple. So then I can come in here and I can start typing in different appointments that I've got. And I used to use tags in OneNote 2016, but since I don't have all of the tags that I created that I'm able to use here, what I started doing is using the touch keyboard, and I'm using different emoji instead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click here, and I'm going to use some of the recent ones that I've got in here. So I should have one here. So we're going to make an appointment, say 5:15 p.m. Gym. Okay. And so now that I've got this started, I'm going to copy. I'm going to come over here and paste. Same thing. I'm just going to kind of adjust it where I want it on the page. And change this. Tuesday, May 8th. And I'm going to go to the gym again. But, you know, if you've got other appointments, let's just say we've got a... so let's add a birthday on here. And if you're using the full OneNote, you can actually have the didn't have everything selected. You can have a tag, and when you use a tag, it actually changes. You can have it set where it changes the font color and it changes the highlight color and everything. But if you're using just the emoji instead, you'll have to manually change the font color. So I mean, that's just one deal. So anyway, so as you can see, if this one right here in OneNote, the app, if I'm clicking off of the content holder, you can see that you don't see the borders, you don't see the background. Another way that you can do this is you can insert a 2-cell table, or you can do a 1-cell table, but I'm going to show you a 2-cell just to show you what it does. And let's do Wednesday. The 9th. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to kind of drag it up here. I'm going to click on the edge of the table, and I'm going to bring it out. We'll make it the purple magnolia sky. Okay, and then so now that I'm in the second, basically it's the second row. Excuse me. Let's just do. It's Wednesday, so we'll do church stuff. So we've got 6:30. Got prayer service. I'm just going to do that one again. 7:00 p.m. is Bible study. Okay, and as you can see here, what it did is when I was at the end of the row, it actually, when I hit enter, it gave me another row. A way that if you want to keep it all in the same, basically in the same row, just, you know, adding more to it, before you hit enter, you can hit a space and then go back and hit return, and it will keep it within the same box. So I'm just going to do that so I don't have all these extras. I'm going to move that in here. Take the space out. Okay, so when I click off of it, you can see here that it still leaves the table borders. And if you're using the full OneNote 2016, you can go into your table menu, and you have an option to hide the borders. But here in this version, it's not there. But using the table version, what I can do is I can change the shading. And so let's pick a pink kind of color. And so we're going to shade this a light pink. So that's one of the things that you can do if you use tables instead of just using your content holder. And again, you know, that's going to be personal preference. And let's say that for this box down here at the bottom, I'm going to want to use this for like a to-do list of things that I want to do, you know, let's say at work or something like that. So I can come in and I'm going to insert a picture from file. Let's go back to the digital. papers. And let's just pick. I'm going to kind of make it smaller, and I'm going to drag it again using the Alt for precise alignment. And all this is just kind of visual, so it's going to be right there. And so now I'm going to click outside of all of everything else, and I'm so that if I click here and I start typing, it's going to give me a new content holder. So now I can come in here, and because this is basically it's a to-do list, so then I can start typing things that I need to do, invoices, e-card stuff. I need to set up an iPhone for parks. I do all the stuff like that. So let's go in here and let's change this. If you haven't guessed yet, I like using different fonts. So I'm not going to sit there and play with it too much. 12. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to drag this up here on top of my yellow. So it makes it look like I've got a square with a background and everything. I'll just make sure it stays within that. So you can get ideas of, basically how I do these, and however you decide to do it, whether you do a table or you do the content holder, you can just, copy and paste them, move them around, make them fit wherever, change this to Saturday. So that would be the 12th, right? Okay. Here. I realize up on the next page. Row. So that doesn't need to be that. Anyway, and you can change your fonts and make everything look how it looks. And then when you get down here at the bottom, you can add images, or you can add, whatever you want to add here. If you want to do, you can just insert another table. Let's do 2. Drag it up. Make it as wide as that there. And I can say, to do this week. I'm going to center that. Well, some fonts don't work very well. Let's pick up blue. And then you can come in here and you can start adding, whatever your task is. And so basically, that's basically how you would do this week. So if you have any questions, you can leave questions down in the comments below, and I will try to put a link to the shops where I've got some of the images from so that you can get to it. And I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Have a nice day.